All right.
Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk to someone who promotes a system that's a relic, whether it be Christianity, Islam, Judaism. See how I put that one in there too? Buddhism, Hinduism. These are all belief systems that were started a long time ago when people were a lot less advanced. When people talk about the family unit, that is a discussion we're going to have today. But here's the thing. I want people to understand this. I'm not debating this as an atheist. I believe in the prime creator. I believe. I won't call the prime creator a god because to me, there's so many false gods. Plus, God spelled backwards is dog. So I'm not going to insult the guy like that. To me, the prime creator is real. We're not going to be discussing the validity if there is a prime creator. What we will be discussing is the validity of the system of Christianity, the validity of the system, Islam, but mainly we're going to focus on Christianity. And then we're going to start talking about the practitioners within that system to see if they're actually living up to their so-called virtue. Or we're going to start talking about, is there a better system? And having said that, let's have the tapes. Bills, let's start.
My name is Gary the Numbers Guy. I'm a numerologist, astrologer, and the information you hear in this video just could save the life of a loved one or yourself. Ever since I started studying numerology right after 9/11, it got me to thinking, is there a pattern to this? And what I discovered is absolutely horrifying. Whenever it's the 11th, the 29th, or any day that adds up to an 11, there seems to be a lot of plane crashes in the world. Basically, if you're going to get on the plane on the 11th, 29th, or any day that adds up to an 11, or say when the flight number adds up to an 11, things go wrong.
Okay, cut that video. So basically, that was a video from me in 2011. See, unlike most people who pick up grifts, I've been doing this for a while because I actually believe in this. This is what I do. This is what I believe. This is how I live my life. I told people 11 years ago, don't fly on 11th and 29th. Play the next video, Bills. Do not fly on 11 days. Do not fly on the 29th of the month. You've seen what happened. Not one, not two, not three, but five. Five plane crashes. January 29th, 3 plane accidents in the world. And yesterday, the first day of the snake, 2025, January 29th, we had a very serious plane accident in Washington, D.C., where over 60 people on American Airlines died in midair in takeoff because they collided. The whole point is this. There's a better way to live than to believe there's a magic man in the sky. There's a better way to live than to believe a virgin gave a birth to Jesus Christ. No one will believe that stuff in the streets. Why do you believe in fairy tales that are in the Bible? I just showed you as a numerologist. I said, don't fly planes on 11 days or the 29th. What happened? We have 5 plane accidents. Some that have cost people their lives in the past 29th of the month. I didn't say 1st. I didn't say 7th. I didn't say 18th. I said 29th, and that's exactly when it happened. Numerology and astrology is a better way because that is actually the prime creator's language. I yield my time.
All right. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. All right. I'll put 4 minutes on the clock for you, Andrew. I'll start once you get going. And then, Bills, if we have that timer ready for the next one, the one after this one we'll have it, right? All right, cool. Go whenever you're ready, Andrew.
Yeah, so when you're talking about religion, and Gary seems to be saying that he's going to come at this from a religious purview, not as an atheist, and he believes in some system which has what he calls a prime mover or prime creator, which isn't a god, which I don't exactly understand. So I don't actually understand what the religious purview is that Gary is speaking from. So debates, when you're talking about Christianity versus any religion or secularism, it's about worldviews. So what you're doing is you're taking epistemology, which is grounding knowledge and foundational knowledge, and you're seeing if it holds up to the scrutiny inside of a worldview. In other words, are the descriptors for this knowledge, are they coherent? Do they make sense? Is it something which can be followed? Is it something which essentially is coherent in its explanation. Gary does not actually have that. So Gary is using this bizarre system. So, for instance, he brings to bear this evidence. And his evidence is, look, I predicted that there would be plane crashes on the 11th, 29th day, this type of thing. But here's all the plane crashes that he forgot about. March 21st, China Eastern Airlines. April 7th, DHL Aero Express. May 12th, Tibet Airlines. May 29th, Tara Air Flight. June 21st, Red Air Flight. July 16th, Meridian Flight. September 4th, October 23rd, November 6th, November 18th. The list goes on and on and on of dates which don't coincide with what Gary is talking about here. The truth is that if you make a prediction that there's going to be some type of aerial catastrophe, which will revolve around the 11th or the 29th, eventually you will be right. There's not, I mean, just as an eventuality, that has to be the case. Now, note, he claims he made this prediction years ago, and this validates the prediction. I actually would counter and say that that prediction is invalidated because he made it years ago. Because it's so many years ago, all he had to do was wait over years, because eventually, if you say the sky is going to fall on X day, it will. If you say some type of deterministic accident will happen on X day, eventually you will be correct, especially when you're talking about airlines, air traffic control, car accidents, famous people dying, right? And he's saying, well, 10 years ago I predicted this. Well, no, 10 years ago you predicted nothing. You just said there could be plane crashes which happen on these dates, and you missed all the other dates that plane crashes happen on that aren't these dates. And it took 10 years for one to finally happen on that date. That's just mere chance. So this is not evidence for the coherency of his worldview or his system. It's not even proof that his predictions are correct. And with that, I'll yield my time.
All right. You still had 3 minutes. Sorry, you still had a minute on the clock. So I guess we'll go to...
No. Let me respond to what he said.
Well, this is going to go into round one of the first debate.
I get you. Let me finish this up, though. Sir, I did make that prediction 10 years ago. I also made one about 2 days before it happened. Bills, can you play that tape again? The one I did 2 days before the 29th happened. It will be the third video in that list. See, I love the fact that you brought that up. I wanted you to bring up the fact that it was 10 years old, because I did the same thing. Do the one with the 11 on it. Yep, play that one.
On 11 days, it's the most likely that you can have issues with planes. We had 3 planes have issues on December 29th, 2024. Korea, Canada, another one. Why? Because it was the 29th and 2 and 9 is 11. And I've said this many times. On 11 days, if you can avoid flying, you should. Now, I'm not going to say I haven't flown on 11 day. I have. But if I can avoid it, I do it. Why take that chance if you can avoid it? On 11 days.
Cut the video. So that basically disproves everything you just said, Andrew, because that video was made 2 days before the 29th. So again, sir, you could try to backpedal all you want, whether you go 10 years ago or you go 2 days ago. My message has always been consistent. Now, you're going to say, guess what, Gary? Not all plane crashes happen on the 29th. Guess what? You're right. I agree with you. But the fact is, if you do a mathematical percentage on the days plane crashes do happen, you're going to see they significantly increase on the 11th and 29th. That's why on December 29th, we had 3 plane crashes worldwide. And a couple of days ago, we had 2, including the one in Washington, D.C. So your whole argument is invalidated, my friend. I just gave you more proof right there than it's all of the freaking Bible. I yield my time.
All right.
Okay. So
yeah,
just to dive in, I'm willing to concede this portion of the argument, Gary. Just show me mathematically that most plane crashes are going to happen on the 11th, 29th. I'll wait.
There've been 4, I believe 5 plane crashes this year.
Yeah,
and,
no, actually, there have been significantly more.
Go to the list of how many happened, and then go to the 11th and 29th, and then we can do a mathematical survey. And by the way, I did call this.
You said you already no. You made the statement, the affirmative statement. It is, if in fact, the case that not all plane crashes happen,
but most
the highest percentage of them happen on the 11th and the 29th.
And 29th.
If that is the case, I await your evidence.
Oh, again, I didn't come here to do mathematical equations with you.
So you just came here to make claims that you can't.
The evidence is very clear. We had two plane crashes yesterday. Where is the one on the 30th, Andrew? Where's the one on the 28th, Andrew? Where's the one on the 27th? So now that you have been basically proven wrong about this, let's move on and start talking about Christianity.
Let's not move on just yet.
You've already been cooked, sir.
Let's not move on just yet. So
go ahead.
When we pull up plane crashes for 2024, I actually just read you several dates. We can pull up the aviation dates of all plane crashes globally.
Would you like to do that right now?
I don't actually see. So even if one were to happen on the 29th or the 11th, and all other ones don't happen on that day, then that would assume that the risk is just as possible for those other dates.
How many plane crashes happened this year, Andrew?
Hang on. I just let you talk. I didn't even interrupt you one time. So what I'm saying to you is that statistically, that would mean it's just as likely as any other day that these crashes happened on. Now, again, I'm willing to concede that you're correct in that on the 11th and 29th, that's when the highest percentage of plane crashes happen. I just want you to give me the actual evidence for that. That's all. I'm not asking for you to move the heaven and earth here. I'm not asking you to have the prime creator do anything. I'm just asking for the actual evidence, the statistical evidence that proves on the 11th and 29th, that's when most plane crashes will happen.
Okay, so I'm going to pass this evidence right out to Myron that was just texting me. Myron?
Okay. Yeah, what do you want me to read here?
Just whatever it says. There were 43 accidents, plane crashes in 2024, and then it shows you the days.
Oh, it shows me your Twitter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was looking at it like, oh shit, wait.
My bad.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
Well, you got a chart.
Yeah, he has a chart here. 43 fatal aircraft accidents by day 24. And it shows a chart here. This chart analyzes. Do you want me to put this on the screen for the audience? Okay. Shit. Let me. You texted me this?
No,
I'll give it to Bill
right now.
All right. And I'll give it to Bill.
1 second.
And I'll put it up on screen.
It's on Twitter, so we've actually.
It's on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm about to send you to. We've done statistical analysis just in case people like Andrew come along, so we can actually prove our point without actually going back and forth in boring conversation.
I'll put it up on screen. Okay. Bills, I'll send you this right now in the Telegram, so you can put it up.
Men lie. We know women lie, but numbers never lie. All right.
So we passed the time for the round, but I'm assuming this is going to be on proving the point. So we'll just keep it going for this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what he asked for.
Yeah, we'll just keep it running.
This is what he asked for, and if you ask, we shall provide. Here we go.
Okay.
Here it is.
Okay, we'll put it up on screen. And then Andrew, just let us know if there's anything you want us to show on your end. Just let me know, and I'll have Bill put it up as well. You know what I mean? Make sure that it's completely fair all around.
Okay.
Can you see that, Andrew?
I can't see anything.
Oh, you can't? Okay, I can. Is it a way for us to?
But I can. If you just tell me what the source is, I'll pull it up and follow along with you guys.
I will. Actually, I'll do you one better. I'll text it to you right now on your phone.
Okay.
So you have it. The audience can see it on our end, but I'll give it to you so you can look at it as well. And while I send you this, I'll read it out loud. Can you make that big for me, Bills, real fast? So it goes fatal aircraft accidents by day. This chart analyzes fatal aircraft incidents by the day of the month. With the day's numerological energy reduced, the data reveals a striking alignment with Gary Greenberg's insights as 11 energy emerges as a key factor linked to malfunctions and significant events, offering valuable implications for aviation safety. And then it shows the month and the days, it looks like here. So yeah, on the bottom you have day of month, and then on the left-hand side you got frequency.
And then you go there on the fatal by the day total. So when something adds up to an 11-day in total, you can see that there's a significantly amount more plane crashes than all the other days. Now, am I saying they only happen on those days? Of course not. What I am saying is there's a significant increase in fatalities, and when it comes to planes on certain days based off numerology. And here's the evidence.
And just to be clear, what are those days?
Those are the 43 fatal accidents that we've had in 2024.
No. I'm sorry. I'll just clarify the question. What are the days you're saying? It's the 11th.
So anything. So there's two graphs. There's one way to come up to an 11 energies. Anything that happens on the 11th or 29th, because 2 and 9 is 11. The other day is something that adds up to the day they attacked Afghanistan. Afghanistan was attacked, I believe, 10/7/2001, 107/02/001 adds up to an 11. So that is the only ways you can come up with 11 energy. And based off those statistical analysis, you can see there's an increase here. So I'm very happy you brought those type of questions up and stuff like that, because we're ready for you.
Good. So let me just refute this very quickly.
Go ahead.
The
sir.
most deadly day
Yes.
for airlines is actually on the 17th. Here's my proof.
Mhm.
The total 787 people killed in the combination of these accidents are the worst in history. Remember, Gary just got done telling you that these are going to be the days which correspond with the most deadly accidents, and they're not. 1996, 2000, 2007, 2014. That would be Malaysian flight, TAM 3054. Alliance Air 7412 and TWA 800 for a combined 787. That is actually the most deadly date, sir.
Well, I said when they mostly happen. So here's
no. You said that's when you get the most casualties.
Happen on 11 days. Don't change the narratives.
You said that's when you get the most casualties.
I understand you want to move the goalposts, but I said most accidents with airplanes happen in 11 days.
You said the most fatalities.
The evidence, and now you're backtracking. But you lied in the last debate, so I expect tactics like
what
this.
am I backtracking on?
No,
you said the most fatalities happen on those days.
Sir,
you took you did was you took a graph of only 43.
Said most accidents happen on 11 days. That graph proved exactly what I said, sir.
Well, no, the graph. All the graph did was it showed a data for 1 year set, and in that 1 year set,
so
it did show two.
We're going to move from a year to 5 years to 10 years.
Let me respond, dude. Mm-hmm. So yes, but that's exactly what you would do. You would say if this was consistently true, that every year this was consistently true. If it's consistently true every year, then you are indeed, yes, correct. That on the 11th and 29th, that's when you're going to see the most amount of these accidents happen, if year by year that is the case. However, it's not. Not only is it not, but the most deadly days on the 17th, proven by these 4 flights that I just gave you with a combined death total, 787s, worst in history. Yep. You've just been proven incorrect, Gary.
So again, I said most plane accidents happen on certain days. I was proven right. The graph,
no, you weren't proven right. You only showed 2024.
Happened. Okay, so 2024. But I also went on video 2 days before the 29th and said, don't fly on the 29th. And we just had the most horrific plane crash of 2025 happen on the 29th. The point is, there is something to this, and if you don't actually see something to this, because I've given you statistical analysis, this is a reason for all you people who are listening right now to go out there and do the research. Go out there and do the work, and you will see how the validity in this type of work. Andrew is a person who doesn't want to believe in this. He wants to believe that the Virgin gave birth to Jesus Christ. That is his, right to believe that. But we believe in logic, and based on logic, mathematics, and percentages. Numbers don't lie, my friend.
Yeah, but even if I was wrong, let's just say I was completely wrong about the religious belief of the virgin birth and all of the various criticisms you have about Christianity, even assuming that was incorrect, that wouldn't make your system correct. That is logic. So logic would dictate, even if Andrew wrong, that doesn't mean Gary right, or even if Gary right, that doesn't mean Andrew wrong. That's actual logic. So what I did was offered a statistical refutation. The 4 most deadly air disasters all fell on the 17th, not on the 29th or the 11th. All of those air disasters combined on the 17th had a grand total of 787. No 4 combinations reached that number. Therefore, Gary, you are wrong in your analysis. The most deadly flights happened there, 1. And 2, you're also wrong in your analysis that year by year, you will find the most amount of these accidents happen on the 11th and 29th, which is why you only gave us a single year analysis. Now, what that's called... Hang on. I'm almost done. What that's called is a data bias. That's when what you do is you take your sample and then you apply your sample to the current thing you already believe without giving people a full picture. Now, if you were to say, Andrew, going back 15 years or to even 10 years, year by year, I can show you that on the 11th and 29th, there's always the most amount of aircraft accidents which happen around these days. That would actually be pretty powerful evidence. And I would be like, I'd have to take another look at that. But that's not what you did. You only gave us a single data set for 2024, which affirms the bias you already have. And when you said it had the most casualties, that was just factually incorrect here.
This is what we're talking about. This is a liberal straw man argument. First, I proved that I said something would happen, and it did. Then I gave him statistical analysis for 2024. It happened. I was right. He still doesn't accept it. It's never going to be enough for people like this. But these are the same type of people who tell you to believe in the Bible. They tell you to believe Jesus Christ is coming back. These are the same type of people who offer absolutely no proof that anything they believe in but they won't accept mathematical proof from you. They will always keep pushing further and further and further. He doesn't want to have an honest conversation. And that's exactly what I expected. The fact of the matter is, most plane crashes happen on 11th and the 29th, or any day that adds up to an 11. And Andrew, if you would really like me to do 20-year statistical analysis, I'll pay someone to do it. And if that will be enough evidence for you, tell me right now on this stream, that would be enough evidence to you if I go back 20 years, because then I didn't go back 50 years, or hell, I didn't go back 100 years, because it's never going to be enough for you. You're always going to move the goalposts. I gave enough statistical evidence for the people who are watching, at least the ones with an IQ above room temperature, to understand there's something to this.
Okay, so let me respond to all of this. I don't know why. Is it what Gary's doing is he's trying to switch the burden of proof. It's very strange. These are Gary's claims, not Andrew's claims. I didn't claim what day the most aircraft accidents happen. Gary claims that. I didn't claim that this is true. Gary claims this is true. These are Gary's claims. He says, well, what would it take to convince you of my claims? And it's like, well, pretty simple. If the claim, and this is the claim Gary made, that on the 11th and 29th, that's when the most amount of plane crashes are going to happen. Well, is that every year, Gary? Is
Yes.
that since airplanes were developed?
Yes.
Is that always? Okay, so if that's the case, then it's perfectly reasonable and acceptable for me to say if that is true, then every single year since the very first airplane was made, you should be able to give me a very simple statistical analysis. Now, let's go on to part 2 here. Pull that chart up again.
Pull it up.
Okay. The one we just had before, right?
The yellow chart.
Yeah, Bills will get it back up.
The one from X.
Should be in the should be in the
Chat.
Telegram. And then after this,
Let's move
because
on.
we're talking about plane crashes and stuff,
Let's
I guess
move on.
we can cover. Well, yeah, after this we can cover the next topic, which I'm assuming you guys want to hit. You guys want to talk about
Christianity.
Jesus?
Yeah.
Christianity.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so go ahead, pull the chart up one more time.
Yeah. We're letting this one rock because obviously this all encompasses plane crashes and 11. So
Here it is.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So are you claiming that there's only been 43 crashes, Gary? Because I was
No.
just reading your chart.
No,
Or are you
fatal.
just claiming that there's only 43 crashes which were fatal?
Fatal. That's what that means.
Then if that's the case, if we were to use the statistical analysis for just fatal crashes, which I actually don't even think that's correct. I think there were more than 43.
Oh, I'll be more
and
than
I'm sure I
happy to
can
go
pull
through
that
the
up
research
too.
with
But
you.
even if I'm wrong on that, let's just yield that this is correct. And there was only 43 global accidents. This would include non-commercial airliners, I would assume, single-engine Cessnas, guys who fly on their own, guys who are going out and taking private
I'm not
aircraft.
sure if we got someone in Zimbabwe who took a joyride and went down, but I'm sure.
Well, I mean, but either
most of the
way,
world-
even if he did, it should still be on the 11th or the 29th.
Correct.
The thing is that if it is the case, are you also saying that those are the most deadly days, meaning the
No,
most amount of
that's
people
not what I
died
said.
on those days?
That's not what it said. That's what you said.
So,
said
okay,
the
got
most
it. So if
likely
that's
to
not the
happen.
case,
Yeah.
then why would we care anyway? If the more deadly days are on the days which are not on the 11th and the 29th, wouldn't you want to predict the days with the most amount of fatalities rather than the days with the most amount of crashes?
Well, you want to talk about maybe one crash happened on the 17th that killed a whole bunch of people, but I'm going to tell you there's been about 10 that happened on the 11th, and maybe the total amount of people died wasn't exactly the same. That's a straw man argument. I'm telling you they mostly happened on the 11th and 29th, and that's my whole argument, sir. Let's not move anything, the goalpost anywhere. That is the whole argument right there.
Yeah, but I'm giving an inquiry about the argument so that I have clarification.
Mhm.
Wouldn't it be actually more useful if I could demonstrate that more people died off the day of the 11th and 29th? Wouldn't it then be more useful to give people the days in which the most amount of deaths will happen
Oh,
rather than the
happened
days in
this
which
year.
the least amount of
That
deaths
happened
happen?
this year, so we'll see how the year goes. But it's already there. Washington, D.C., RIP, the 35 or 37 souls that actually, 60, 65 souls that died in a plane crash in Washington, D.C., which is crazy because all of us were just there. All of us were just at that airport. So again, but we know not to fly in the 29th.
And now you can go back, you think, and demonstrate that on the 11th and 29th of each and every year, that those are the days in which the most amount of all aircraft which fly around
or any
go
day
down.
that adds up to an 11, correct. Like I said,
And this includes all
Afghanistan,
military aircraft?
I believe it encompasses everything.
You think that there was only 43 fatal accidents, which included military aircraft?
I don't know if it includes military aircrafts or not, but commercials.
But shouldn't it include military aircraft? Aren't they beholden to the same numbers rules as commercial airlines?
When it comes down to military aircraft, it could be a war, so you never know about that.
Yeah, there could be a war, but even if it was a war, you should still have the same amount of most of them going down on the 11th or 29th, right?
Well, I will be more than happy to put all those statistics within a week, sir. And we'll do it on Twitter so we can go back and forth as well.
Do you think if I pulled up the Ukraine stats on which days various jets were shot down,
if you want to do all of that now.
That the most amount of them were shot down on the 11th and 29th, and that the most helicopters go down on the 11th and 29th?
You want to go into drones too?
Yeah, I'm assuming this is all aircraft?
Make all the rules now. Where do you want to go with this?
I'm asking if this encompasses all aircraft or not.
Probably not military in Ukraine, no.
What gives them like a numerological
it's a war zone. We're talking about commercial aircrafts, Cessnas, private aircrafts, things of that nature.
Yeah, but why are other aircraft accepted from this rule?
Because when you have a war zone, different rules apply, don't they, sir?
Or different numbers rules from the prime creator apply?
Well, of course, on the 11 days. Well, you want to talk about 9/11 when the first plane to hit the World Trade Center was Flight 11. We can talk about that as well.
But I don't understand why there's an exception.
You want to talk about the plane that hit the World Trade Center?
I don't understand why
9/11. Well, you want to talk about that?
I'm on YouTube. I can't get into 9/11 shit.
Exactly. No. You're saying it doesn't happen.
Oh
I'm giving you examples. With the World Trade Center hit on the 11th.
Nobody said nothing about
on the 11th.
It doesn't happen. You're just making stuff up.
When is it enough, sir? When are we going to stop moving the goalposts?
When you're all done spurging, let me know, and I can continue with the argument.
We'll stay away from 9/11 out of respect.
Please. I'd appreciate it. I don't care. I'm happy to get into it. It's just we have TOS. So anyway, so over on this should encompass all aircraft, and let's just say we exempted it from war zones, like Gary says. For some reason, the prime creator thinks in war zones the numbers no longer apply correctly. Now we have a new number set of some kind. I don't know how that works exactly, but let's just assume that too. Gary says there's only 43 total accidents which happened with airplanes in 2024. That's his entire statistical. It's
a fatality, sir.
What's that?
Fatalities.
Yeah, only 43 with fatalities. Yes. Okay, fair enough. We'll clarify it. So only 43 total
Don't pull up 200.
So that would include non-commercial airlines, helicopters. That would include all aerial aircraft going down, military or otherwise. So he doesn't even give us the full data set. He doesn't even give us the full 2024 data set. There was way more than 43 airplanes that crashed that had fatalities, I guarantee you, especially if you incorporate globally all military aircraft. It would have to be the case. So since that's true, we don't even have a complete data set there. On top of that, even the data set we do have is only for 1 year, and all it does is affirm a bias that Gary has. It's not proof of anything, Gary.
So if we go back to the GDP of a country last year, it doesn't prove anything about the GDP of the country. Is that what you're telling me?
No, it proves exactly what the GDP of the country was.
Exactly. So my statistics stand for what they are. Let's move on, sir.
That's not an argument, though. Like you saying, if we go back and look at the numbers for the GDP, will it show us what the GDP was? Well, sure. If we go back and look at all 43 of these flights, could it show on the 11th and 29th that that's when the most of them went down? Sure, but that doesn't tell us anything.
What do you mean it doesn't tell us anything?
It doesn't tell us that it is the case that since aviation began on the 11th and 24th, every single year is when the most amount of aircraft go down. That's your argument.
Enough. 10 years will not be enough. He wants all the evidence, and then even that won't be enough.
I know. I want evidence.
But this is the same person who will say, believe in Jesus Christ, believe in my Lord and Savior, and he can't even give you an iota of the proof that I just did. See how this works? He wants to demand all the proof in the world, but he can't prove anything. He can't even prove Jesus existed.
Well, so in this debate, I haven't made a single claim yet. That's
no. You believe in Jesus Christ.
All I've done is
believe in Jesus Christ.
All I've done is respond to claims which Gary has made.
You believe in Jesus Christ.
All I'm doing, and Gary, you'll get a chance to go to get into whatever claims you want with me. But I'm just saying, right now, these are claims you made that we're diving into.
My claims for 2024 are correct. You want more analysis. I gave you, and my analysis might be enough for the people watching. They might be enough for the people who are listening to this right now. If they're not enough for you, that's fine. But what I'm trying to tell you is very simple. I can provide evidence for what I believe in. You can't provide iota.
Should we get into the Christianity thing?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but just real quick, because we're almost wrapped up.
Andrew.
I just want to be clear here, and then I'll give Gary the last word, and then we can move on. Gary, we were very specific, and I got clarity on each claim. So Gary's actual claim, and you guys can back this tape up as much as you want. Since aviation began on the 11th and 29th, always those days are going to have the most aircraft
11
crashes,
days in total,
regardless of the year since aviation started. That's Gary's claim 1. Claim 2, he did say these are the days when it's the deadliest, right? I disproved that immediately, so that's completely disproven.
How many people died on
I demonstrated
9/11,
that
sir?
by showing the date 17th.
How many
actually
people died on 9/11, sir?
Okay, can dude?
Exactly.
I won't interrupt you when you're giving your close on this. I won't interrupt you. Just don't interrupt me. So, anyway, the point is that I disproved that very quickly. And then on top of that, using a single, imagine if we could do this with almost anything. We can use a set year analysis for almost anything that has an affirmation bias for a single year. That's not how you do a statistical analysis. Gary knows this. Everybody knows this. You would have to do a statistical analysis of such a bold claim of the 11th and 29th of each year by taking all commercial, military aircraft, everything, combining them over each year, and then determining that on these 2 days is when the most amount of those crashes happen. Showing me a chart of 2024 of 43 crashes is just plain lazy, and it doesn't prove shit. That's the last I'll say on it.
That's your opinion. And listen, now that we're going to get to the Christianity portion of this, I want people to understand the evidence I provided was real, but he didn't accept it because it wasn't enough. But remember, I'm about to turn this on him, and he won't be able to give me an iota, a shred of evidence that Christianity is real, Jesus Christ existed, a virgin gave birth to Jesus. He won't be able to do any of it. So now, my friend, I'm looking forward to this because you set your bar so high with mine. Let's see how low you set it with yours, sir.